studio the National Publicity Secretary of the Yoruba Social Cultural Group, Afenifere, Mr. Yinka Odumakin. Welcome to the program, sir.
My pleasure.
Your group, in a recent statement, asserts that President Muhammadu Buhari's government anti-corruption war is selective, using the invitation of Ambassador Oke and his wife, that's the former DG of NIA, without extending the same invitation to Babachi Lawal, that's the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation. And you asserted that this puts a question mark on the fidelity of his anti-corruption war. Would you agree that President Muhammad Buhari's overhyped anti-corruption crusade is derailed?
Well, I think that the president may have meant well in terms of his desire to rid Nigeria of corruption. But it's either they underestimated the level of corruption in Nigeria, or they don't have a faint idea what corruption is and how to combat it. In the last 2.5 years, we have seen a lot of Nollywood activities in terms of media trials, Gestapo operations, naming and shaming kind of thing, but without any attempts to fight corruption the way it should be fought. I'll give you an example. Look at the guy that was investigating the question of the Russia links about American elections. Did you hear anything from him in the last few months? When he finished a thorough investigation, he came out with his report. Even before they could go to court, one of the persons already resigned. That's how to fight. That's how to fight corruption. Not just question of picking your an opponents. And like Senator Sani said, using insecticide when you see people are not in your good book, and then now reaching for deodorants when people are very close to you. That's not how to fight corruption. And that's what led us to talk about the question of Oke and Babachi Lawal. Like we said, we are not saying that Oke should not be investigated. For the president to sack two of them, there must have been something in the report that indicted them. And in any case, we should even know the content of this report. What were the findings of Oshibajo against the two persons? We are not told. We are just thinking, the president has to leave them. And when the spokesmen of the administration were being asked, why did the president not hand them over to the actual agencies? Oh, yes, Mr. President does not delegate the anti-corruption war. They will use their discretion. They will do their jobs if they find anything. Now, the FCC came out and said that, we are inviting Oke and his wife. And they were silent on Babachi Lawal until we came out yesterday. So by yesterday now, that's night, we have set up a crack team on Babachi Lawal. Crack team. Oke and in fact, Babachi Lawal started before Oke. The Senate already indicted him. The president was defending him. Oh, sir, they didn't go through the process. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. It was only after Oke president started that now suspended the two of them the same day. The same Oshibajo panel investigated two of them, submitted his report on two of them the same day. The president sacked two of them same day. Now you are inviting one, you are leaving the other. The one who asked, who is presidency? And from what we had now, we want to be corrected. There's information that Babachi Lawal was already abroad. So now you are saying that you are setting up a team. What team? Somebody was sacked by the president for corruption. We all know what the facts are. You are not inviting him. You are not saying you are setting up a crack team. So, why are you inviting Oke? Why are you not setting up a team on Oke?
But Mr. Yinka, some are of the opinion that Afenifere seems to be playing the ethnic card in this. What's your reaction to that?
Anybody who says that does not read it clearly. Look at the statement. We made it clear that we are not obstructing Oke's investigation. For the president to have sided to them, he must have found certain things in the report against two of them. Well, all I say is that, look, all citizens of Nigeria should be equal before the law. The law the infraction that necessitated Oke's invitation should also have necessitated Babachi Lawal's investigation. And we are not just crying foul. If we want to play ethnic card, we say, no. Okay, he's innocent. He's not this. No. We are saying no. We have invited, okay, fine, go ahead. But what about Chilawa? And so, and we have not played the ethnic card, and will not play the ethnic card as far as corruption is concerned. We are asking that be evil, let law take its course, don't be partial, don't be selective, don't pick and choose who is to be investigated, who is not to be investigated. The moment you do that, the anti-corruption war loses credibility. That, I mean, when Sheikh Sani said that deodorant is used on people, instead for others, is he playing a ethnic card? He's saying the same thing what you are saying.
That brings us to the next question. There's been frightening number of
Yeah.
the president's men that has already been tainted by these scandalous corruption issue. Can it be said that the president is abetting corruption when it has to do with certain individuals, especially?
That's why I'm saying that perhaps the president may have underestimated the level of corruption in our system, or did not fully understand what corruption is all about. You see, when we met in Akure a few days ago, Afenifere said something that the question of corruption in Nigeria, in a system like this, is systemic, endemic, and structural. You cannot say that you want to fight corruption when you are not touching the architecture of corruption itself. What is the architecture of the corruption in Nigeria? To assess the presidency of Nigeria, governorship, everything and that is a multi-billionaire game. When some months ago, INEC came out with a report of the 2015 elections about finances and said that the APC spent over 500 billion naira, while PDP spent almost 1 trillion naira. That is what the humongous kind of money that we need to assess presidency in Nigeria. So that no honest fund can give you the Nigeria presidency. You remember that during the elections, the president, a man with integrity, himself had to be explaining right from when we went to collect APC form, how they got the money. Had to be saying, well, I got a loan from my bank to get the form and the rest of them. And someone said, which bank will give a 70-year-old man to go and a loan to go and take a form? So, but that shows you that the president himself is embarrassed by the amount of money his party was charging just to get the form of nomination form of his party. He had to explain himself, not to cough the whole wide range of other expenses of elections. If there's a serious attempt to fight corruption, where we thought that this administration was started, was first of all to start electoral reforms, to ensure that nobody will spend the kind of money we are spending to access power in Nigeria. Yet we have not done that. We have not done anything to remove the fact that only those who have access to corrupt funds can access public office in Nigeria. So we are going to 2019 elections now, same templates. Those who spend money for the last elections, they have to get their money back. We have to get money for the next elections. So how can you fight corruption holistically? So you can only fight corruption against those who are not your good books. Because a lot of the people we are talking about today were the people who brought money for elections, were the people that we rely upon to get money for the elections. Because the same templates that we use for the last election is what we are going to use for this next election now. Remember, Yaradua, shortly after he became president, he set up the waste panel because he said he was embarrassed by the kind of election that brought him to power. So, if we want to fight corruption, that's where to start. To know that we are running an electoral system in which no honest man, no honest fund can give you access to power. In fact, there is no political party, major party there today, that can publish the reports, financial election reports, to say, oh, this was how much I spent, these are the sources. It's not possible.
That's worrying. That's
So,
very, very worrying.
that is where to start. So if you don't do that, I cannot say we saw Bobisi today. She stole 1 billion, and this one she stole 30 million, and this one she asking Nico. What are you talking about? So we have not started the war against corruption in Nigeria. We are just picking and choosing something to tantalize the public, to excite them, to create sensation, to create films, Nollywood. That's what we are doing. We are not fighting corruption.
Now, let me now based on the report that was submitted
Yeah.
by the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, and the recommendations of that panel, as well as the report itself, I mean, would you recommend that would you say that it's imperative that this report be made public based on public interest?
It has to.
Do you see that happening with this?
Well, with the antecedents of this regime in terms of the way it treats the Nasaku, we have seen the way Baru Kachiku matter ended. In fact, Baru was going to host dinner for Senate a few days ago until the noise, so much noise in the clinic. We knew what happened when there was allegation against the chief of staff. I mean, to date, it went just like that. And you have seen the minor gates. Minor is now granting interviews in hiding. How did he escape? How did he come to the country? How was he instated, promoted, brought into the system? We are seeing all the kind of memos that are leaking. You know, the guy that was removed from the Executive of Supreme Court is back in the system now. So we have so many. I mean, look at the former EFCC chairman, Lamode. Lamode went to the Senate. Come and account for, I think, 1.4 trillion naira that you recovered. He ran away. We have not heard anything about him again until we recently heard that he's now a commissioner of police in a special foreign unit. So, and that brings us back to the question you asked earlier. When you say that, it's a very plain ethnic card, and I think it's the managers of anti-corruption war itself who are playing the ethnic card, who are saying that yes, when it is for some people from some section, you are very effective. When it comes to some people from some section, you try to play some games. I mean, there was a man called Jafar Wisa. He was one of those who was accused to have collected money from Dasuki. The FCC invited him. He spent a night there. It was said that he had paid. He went to pay back the money, and that's the end of the matter. So, we are demanding. We are against corruption in the system, but we are saying that you cannot fight corruption, picking and choosing, having sacred cows. Some people above the law. No, let's be lobby evil, because corruption has done so much damage to our system. The amount of money. Look, when you look at all our underdevelopment indices today, there is everything you see at the periphery. There's a vertical link to the corruption architecture, to the quest to corruption, because all the roads that are not fixed is what the money has been stolen. People are dying, no access to, even the clinic in the villa. It's not for the first aid you have to shout out that this is not functional. So if the clinic in the villa is in that shape, you can know what our hospitals are across Nigeria. It is easier for people to die in our hospital than in their homes today. This was a country that, before independence, the Saudi royal family was coming for treatment in UCH Ibadan. Royal family in Saudi Arabia. Today, if you go to that UCH, if you have a wound and you go there to treat it, you may likely come back with gangrene. And the roads are bad. Look, outside Abuja, there's hardly anywhere you can travel 1 kilometer of smooth road in Nigeria today. Go to Benin Republic, Togo, Ghana. In fact, if you are going to Ghana from Nigeria, once you cross the border, once you get to the border, you enter gallops, cranes, all kinds of things. The moment you leave the border, once you get to Ghana, you won't enter one pothole. These are poor countries. Why is our own like this? It's corruption. But how do we fight that corruption? That's the issue. It's not the way we are doing now. We cannot fight corruption the way we are doing. In fact, we are doing now just to fight slices of corruption, leaving the main thing. So this argument will go, and now another argument will come, and start also opening up the corruption that happened under this administration. It's become a vicious cycle, and that's why that some of us are saying that until we do restructuring of this country, we have to move away from this sharing culture, where the federal government just take all the rent, keep all the money, begin to share it on this basis of sharing, to what we do about corruption, we have to move to productivity. Let every section of Nigeria become productive. Let people begin to work. Let them begin to pay taxes. And then enforce accountability at all levels. But as it is now, once you collect rent, I mean, it's like the landlords of Lagos, those who live on rent. They come at the end of the year, collect rent, blow the money, wait for the next rent. That's what we are doing in Nigeria. And it's not sustainable. It's not possible. It's not practicable. So we must enforce our laws on corruption. We must be even-handed. Look, there's no system in which you have corruption. Even in America, corruption is everywhere. But the difference between Nigeria and these other places is that you can be corrupt until you are caught. Once you are caught, you know that there's no hiding place. You can't be playing all these ethnic games. You cannot be doing hanky-panky. You cannot be doing as if you're above the law. You cannot be shielding people with power. It cannot happen that you have a person like Mena, a fugitive, declared wanted. Now he comes back to the country. Immigration does not know anything about it. You take him back. They reset him. You promote him. You do a kind of thing. Then there's the public outcry. The next thing, he disappear out of the radar. You start exchanging memo. Then she or staff on head authority start to arguing, be fighting themselves. It's not done anywhere.
On this Mena's, scandal. I mean, it's really scandalous, and a lot of people are grieved about it. And there's this question that's continuing to come up because it actually, struck at the culture of impunity.
Yeah.
Based on the way that was handled, and one begins to wonder. Nigerians are asking, shouldn't be the Attorney General of the Federation and the others who are involved in it be fired? What's your view on this? Ideally,
by now they should have been asked to step aside and to go and explain themselves. But what do you have? There's enough. So that's the impunity in the system that we're talking about. And the question that our laws, our anti-corruption war, develop strong teeth against those who are not in government or in the good books, but became totally paralyzed and toothless when it comes to those who are in the good books, who are in the cabal, who are in the inner caucus of power. And it cannot work that way. So when we do that, we're just making mockery. We're just doing what is called anti-corruption propaganda.
That's that. Some have slammed President Muhammadu Buhari for not acting swiftly in appointing heads of strategic agencies, seen to be relevant in the fight against corruption at the outset. And he utterly displayed poor judgment when he finally did. What's your perspective on this?
Well, I think that it shows clearly that we are not yet having the proper and right institutions to fight corruption.
So do we call for reform?
Even today, even the FCC today is not properly headed. The FCC that's even trying to make some effort is not properly headed. The person who sent the FCC today now has been rejected twice by the Senate. There's a report from DSS hanging over his head, even his own head. So when you look at it, that means saying that all we have done in the last 2.5 years is anti-corruption propaganda. But we have not really started to fight corruption the way it should be fought. And just dealing with some symptoms of corruption. We are not dealing with the root cause of corruption itself. We are not trying to stamp it out. And once we are fighting corruption at that level, we are not fighting. There's no war on corruption.
Let me ask you this final question. The president's integrity is under siege at this point in time. His zero tolerance policy on corruption is being called to question. What will it take for President Muhammadu Buhari to earn public trust again, recover his tarnished reputation, and fulfill his historic mandate, which he won to tame corruption?
Well, I think the greatest strength of this president is the question that he abhors corruption. I once worked with him in 2011, And the greatest strength of him that we sold in that campaign was that he abhors corruption. And I think the edge he had over Jonathan in 2011 elections was also the fact that, oh, this man's going to coming to stamp out corruption in our system. It's 2.5 years now. And his integrity is being assailed left, right, and center. Not on account of his own corruption, but around of those who surround him. But in the final analysis, the buck ends on his table. Therefore, in the time remaining now, I don't know the road you want to start now and finish before 2019. If they have not commissioned any major project in 2.5 years, we have just a few months left for this administration. Because by middle of next year now, the next election will swing. Therefore, in the period remaining, there are 2 things this president can do to earn the trust of the public. The first was he must kickstart the process of finding a proper governance structure for this country that will eliminate most of the problems they are having. That's going to the roots of the problem. The second thing is that he must prove that he was not wrongly packaged. And that includes the fact that he must allow an unfair third investigation, prosecution of corrupt people. Those in his government, outside his government. The lady at the Temple of Justice is blind. Does not see anybody. Anybody that crosses the line, that lady goes after that person. But once you have a one-eye magistrate who can see some people, cannot see others, that's a problem. Once you have untouchables, once some people can ride roughshod over the system, over the laws, there's a problem there. And you must ensure that that perception is removed. And that should start from this minor scandal. The way he resolved this minor gates would tell if the people can trust him all over again. There's no point. He must wield the big stick on all the top officials who have been involved in this monumental embarrassment and scandal that's rocking his ambition. There should be no broom, no matter how large in this country, that should be able to sweep this under the carpet. If it deals with it squarely, they should get the manner. All those who are involved should be punished. That will restore some confidence. This is the man we voted for. This man we've always been trusted that is against corruption. Because the president should know that because people are already asking questions to say, well, look, even the first coming of the president, when he was seen as a non-nonsense general who was against corruption, people are now saying, okay, wait a minute. What happened that when Shagari was overthrown, Ekweme, the vice president, was kept in prison? Shagari, who headed the corruption, was kept in the guest house. A man like Adekunle Ajashin was one of the best men of integrity that this country ever known. Ajashin went to government. His testimony was that the number of Agbadas that he took to government was same he took out of the government. He didn't so any new one. The day the military struck, Senator Banji Akitoye is alive. He was packing his things into his car. When Chief Ashonati, who's not there, he rushed to him and said, please, Banji, don't put it in that car. The governor has no car to take him back to his tour. He brought 2 cars to government. None of them was serviceable. He didn't buy any new one. That man was kept in prison throughout. He was tried. Nothing was found with him. He was kept in prison. But we find other people the man who headed the whole corruption that you are finding was kept in the guest house. Where even had the child. So the president has the opportunity to remove all those by allowing the anti-corruption war to function at all levels, no matter who is God. All these officials who have been indicted for corruption that should be released for trial to go through the process. And that's the way, because that's the only thing in which Benin can score now in the period remaining for this administration. Like I said, he cannot build roads, he cannot fix hospitals, he cannot fix schools, he cannot fix education. They even now they are struggling to just pay salary. Males cannot pay salary. So there is the quick win for him is to let Nigerians know, and then to Nigerians to realize that okay, at least this man did not disappoint in the area of his core competence, that is fighting corruption.